Hey, welcome back to stage 2 of painting your car at home in a garage. Professional paint booth, garage, whatever, same difference. I know it looks like a 4 or 5 year old taped this thing off. It's actually a 45-year-old, and that was me. Probably one of the least things I like to do is taping off a car. But the reason being is you saw stage 1. If you didn't watch the previous video, we painted the door jamb, the inside of the door, and we stopped down there in the corner of the rocker panel. The reason being is I don't like tape lines, and I don't like blend lines. So I was trying to think of the best way to do this to ensure that I didn't have to worry about trying to hide those or blend those. Or the biggest thing I have a problem with is tape lines, is that's where the clear coat of the paint starts to peel from, because it's hard to get that thing prepped sometimes. Well, it's just sloppy work sometimes. But if we don't have those things to worry about, our life's a whole lot easier. And if you look here, you see the front fender is kind of sort of not on the car, a big heck of a gap right there. There's a reason for that. I'm going to paint this car still mostly assembled, minus the hood and the cowling and some small things like the lower valence. So that's going to be like stage 2. The reason you see the fenders on here is this car is painted white, but even then, a different angle of the sheet metal, different air pressure, different temperature, different mix could cause the color to look slightly different. I know it sounds kind of critical, but this is good practice too. If I was painting a metallic car, how would I do that? I do the door jambs just like this, set the car up just like this. Now I'm going to paint the hood separately because of the stripes. That kind of throws a wrench in the works. That's going to make things a little more difficult on a car with stripes. That's going to be another topic. We'll get back to that here in just a minute. But I'm going to show you what I've done so far with the masking and then the why. Then we'll keep going down the whole of why we're going to put some stripes on this thing. All right, here we go. Like I said, the fender's kind of hanging out here. Now, the car is all covered up and wrapped up in plastic. I'm going to shoot the whole fender all the way down to here and paint the whole thing so there's no tape on. I'm going to paint the fender in one pass while painting the car. I got the big gap here with the idea of I'll be able to blow the paint in here and paint that trailing edge of that fender all in the same pass. Same with the leading edge of the door. I've got the door shell all taped off, but I'm going to paint this leading edge, and that's the only blend line we're going to have. It's going to be a soft line because I got the tape rolled backwards, so I shouldn't need a whole lot of work or zero work on cleaning that up. Like I said, in stage 1 was we painted the inside of the doors. Now I've got this all wrapped up with tape, so I don't have to worry about that. But the same thing, we're going to paint the trailing edge of this door. And then here's the door jamb. This is why I did this way here. We painted what's underneath that paper, and that blue tape there is done. And the rocker panel is done under the car. So the only tape line actually follows the dog leg of this here, and then the seam in the quarter panel. So that'll be hidden inside that area there. So I don't have to worry about that being an issue or a reduced chance of maybe peeling and stuff. That's the only tape line technically the car really should have when I'm all done. Now the trunk deck is currently off of the car. I've got it set up here kind of in a way that when I paint the car, I won't have any tape line or blend line. We're going to paint all the way into the gutter here and get that all squared away in one pass. That way I don't have to worry about the same thing, the blend line and stuff like that. But I did this because I want to be able to take the trunk deck and bolt it on the car. And then as I do the stripes, because the stripes go clear across this panel, across the trunk deck, and come down to the back edge. And then of course, then the entire tail panel is painted that light Tyrol blue 67 Firebird color. But then I want to make sure the lines when I bolt this thing on are lined up right across the panel. If I were to try to paint this on the bench, even I got measurements, I would be afraid that I wouldn't get it right. So I'm going to do it this way. It was similar how I did the TransAm. I painted it, put the trunk deck on the car, painted the base white, and then I bolted the trunk deck on the car in the alignment where I want it when it's all done. And then I took the tape straight across both panels, and then I removed the trunk deck and then finished painting the car. So I'm going to do the same thing with that. That worked pretty good for me last time. And I've got everything taped off to the floor. Like I said, it looks like maybe a 4 or 5 year old taped this thing up, but nope, that was me. I'm 45, so that makes it the same. Anyway, this side's set up all the same way. I've got the masking tape all squared away on the door, so that way when I go to paint it, I'm going to open up the door and just paint in here. The same thing. It eliminates the blend or the tape line here in the door jamb. That way I can just paint the whole thing in one pass, clear coat. I don't have to worry about it. At least that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And then stage 3 then will be, we're going to paint the hood and the stripes, the hood inserts, the cowling, small things like the spoiler that goes on the back of the car, the fender extractors, the front lower valence, the front bumper pieces. So I wanted to show you this because what's going to happen is this is going to probably take me 4 or 5 hours of painting. Those stripes add some time to it, and I don't know how much footage I'm going to get, and I don't want you to miss the why, the how, and what the idea was behind doing it this way and the why. And here's the other thing is I'm going to be this weekend at the TransAm National, so I don't know when I'm going to paint this car exactly. Wednesday, I don't have time. I have an appointment right in the middle of the day, but I have everything ready to go. So weather permitting, humidity, bugs, wind, neighbors, however it is, I don't want to disturb anybody the best that I can. Then we're going to knock this thing out. I will try to get some footage of painting, but if I don't, it's the same process. You put your sealer coat on, which is a reduced epoxy, put your base coat on, which is the white, and we're going to pause, tape it off, put the stripes on. And speaking of the stripes, in my mind, I remember reading somewhere or sometime, base coat, you only have a small window of time. If you let it dry too long, you have problems with the clear binding or bonding to it, or adhesion issues. So I don't remember where it was at that I read it, but I'm gonna try to keep the window less than 30 minutes to tape that off and get those stripes painted, and then jump to the clear process. I'm gonna bury these stripes under the clear coat, so when it's all said and done, there is no transition change over the bumps. Now the factory, that's not how the TransAm was done. The car was painted white, and then the guy sort of taped it off, painted the blue, and fogged it into the door, the trunk jams and whatever, and it just kind of a little sloppy, but that was how they were done. I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna actually make it look a little better. I guess I kind of step away from being exactly like a real TransAm. We're going a little bit cleaner on that. But anyway, I started rambling, but that's the thing. I can't wait too long if I put the clear on. Now, I don't know the exact window, but my goal is less than 30 minutes. Now, some people probably don't feel that's an issue, but I can't tell how many cars I've seen where they look great, so the clear coat's peeling right off, and that base coat is perfectly slick and smooth. In that situation, that tells me they waited too long before they put the clear coat on. Just my thoughts, but just wanted to share that with you. And the other thing we've got to do, of course, now in Indiana, I get this thing ready to paint, and I just bought something new, and the temperature now is only 75 degrees. I'm not even sweating today. It's great. A little breezy, though, to actually do any painting. I don't have time today, but I bought something to help combat the fluid, the humidity and the moisture problems in the air hose. Check this out. And as for a solution for all the humidity and the extreme amount of moisture in the air and condensation building in my air system, I came up with an idea that I've been toying with quite some time. You take that big copper tubing, about 3/4 inch in diameter. You want the bigger diameter for the water to have an ability to fall out of the suspension of the moving air, because it slows down the velocity. And that's what I've been reading. So that looks really cool. You need approximately 40 feet of that run on a coil. Hook up your inlet and your outlet, and normally it does a really good job of drawing moisture out. And of course, you have to manually drain it every once in a while. But the flip side was I priced all that out. Copper tubing is expensive. That stuff's ridiculously expensive. By the time I bought the copper tubing and the valve and all the fittings and hooked it up, I think I estimated about $450. Not to mention, I'm going to guess probably 3, 4, 5 hours to assemble this thing and get it operational. So I opted to go a different way. Let me show you. And what you see here is the Harbor Freight Airline Dryer. Yes, that was $600. 15 minutes installation, ready to go. Automatic drain. I don't have to mess with it. I got it set up where it's going to drain right here. You're supposed to be like 12 inches away from the wall, or whatever the direction said. And so far on this side, I've got some good space over here, but limited space in the Bound Village garage to make use of what I've got. So I'm going to do some testing on that here before I do any spray painting. But I'm feeling pretty good about this after watching reviews. Yes, it's not the most expensive unit, but this isn't a full-time body shop running a compressor or running a DA all day long. Just hoping that pulls some of the moisture out. And as for my compressor, here we go, standby. Mr. Standby here. Super happy with this thing. Hasn't let me down yet. I think it's 7 years old. I do let the water drain every time I'm done using it. Still get a little bit of rust in the tank. There's just no way around that because of condensation, but definitely keep it drained. Kind of dumps out the door. Not the best design, just letting it dump on the floor, but it's worked so far for me. So that's what I'm going to try out. I'll let you know and keep you posted how this all works. Anyway, I hope that line dryer is going to save me a lot of grief and potential of damaging my paint. I normally paint in the spring, low humidity, no bugs, temperatures are low. But I'm getting these cars done at different time frames now, and I'm knocking them out a little quicker, so we got to adapt and make it work. And now you could probably find other ways to keep the lines cool, use a paint booth. I'm just saying, though, that's a little spendy for a one-time job, so I don't think I would recommend that. Again, I'm just trying to get this stuff done effectively and still share with you the do's and the don'ts. But nonetheless, I'm going to wrap it up here for today. Got the car all set up. It's wiped down. Gonna keep my paint booth super clean in the meantime, I hope. And then this weekend is the TransAm Nationals. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be there. I will be there with the TransAm Eldorado. Decide to go ahead and take it. I'm going to be at the show parked hopefully next to the Great Pumpkin, as long as I can get that worked out. So you'll see me there and the owner of the Great Pumpkin, and feel free to say hey. And again, let me know in the comments if you'll be there, and I'll try to keep an eye out for you. Again, keep in mind, you know what I look like because I'm on here. I don't have no idea who you are. I might know your name from your screen name, but hey, don't forget to introduce yourself, and I'll try my best to remember you. But anyway, appreciate you guys following me, and gals, putting these things back together, making it happen in a 2-car garage, and still getting fantastic results. And I hope to see you guys and gals at the TransAm Nationals this weekend.
John, you know that can't be done. That's when this legendary man started a mission just to prove those people wrong. Now in the Vinyl Village garage, they're building cars that look so fine.